Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Well, it's me, Marla Goldberg, and I'm trying something new this year. On months that have 5 weeks, I am going to be attempting a solo show. And so I welcome you to the show and know that this is an interactive podcast, so you can IM me your messages, and I'll be more than happy to answer them to the best, your questions to the best of my ability, or whatever it is you're looking for. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, before we start the show, first of all, it's St. Patty's Day. I couldn't find my green dress, but so this is the closest thing I have. There you can see little bits of green, so that's my little bit of Irish today, and wishing each and every one of you that the road may rise up to meet you on this beautiful, beautiful St. Patty's Day. Also, I ask that we send prayers, love, whatever it is you can, to the Ukrainian people, the country of Ukraine, neighboring countries, for their infrastructure is being taxed with all the people leaving Ukraine, trying to save themselves. And I know this might sound a little out of the box, but this person really needs your love. So I'm going to request you send him your love, and that is Vladimir Putin, because anybody who has such little regard for human life has had to be really, really damaged along the way and needs the love. So let's send Vladimir Putin love and healing, and send support, healing, love to the people of Ukraine. I'm going to also request, and this is part of my charity shout out, so I'm doing my charity shout out a little early, to find whatever way, whether it's the Red Cross or any other organizations that are looking for donations, whether they're material things or monetary donations. Do what you can. If you don't have money, again, send prayers, send love, send support energetically, so that they can really withstand what's going on in this war. All right, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess, metaphysics basics. You know, we have the most incredible metaphysicians that come on the show, psychics, mediums, spiritual leaders, and they come from their perspective, which is, as I call, au fait, well-educated, knowledgeable, and really tops in their field. But we may not all be in the midst of our journey. We might be starting our journey. And, you know, for many, it's hard to figure out where the starting point is. So let's talk about a few things. Okay. How my journey started. Well, I know in hindsight, which is always 2020, isn't it? That I had inklings of spiritual support. I had inklings of intuitive guidance, but I really didn't pay attention to it. Why? Because I lived in my head. I lived in my head, and I was also dealing with many issues of low self-esteem, self-confidence, which I covered up with great bravado, with great faux confidence, that if you saw me, you would think, oh my God, she could do anything. And when underneath it all, I wasn't confident at all. And I truly had no true guidance growing up. I had no structure, no guidance. No one really showed me or taught me how to deal with conflict resolution or conflicts in general. It was like a crazy madhouse growing up. And so it was something that I just never, ever learned. And I went into life just me, myself, and I, and tried to sit and observe other people and how they did things. I tried to rationalize the decisions I made. And look, there's a lot of power in choice. I talk about the power of choice. And as adults, we make over 33,000 choices in the course of one 24-hour period. Yep. Over 33,000. And not only do we make those choices, but a lot of them are just automatic reflexes. So, for example, we choose to open our eyes. Do we look at it as a choice? No, we open our eyes. We go to the bathroom. Do we look at it as a choice to go to the bathroom? No, we'd say we don't, but it is a choice. And so I kept, as I call, I did the rinse and repeat cycle over and over and over again in my life until my life really fell apart for the last time. And it was at that point when I was at my lowest of lowest times where I went to, and I talk about this, I went to a women's conference and heard a woman talk about how to heal yourself. And I thought, oh my goodness, I've been going to therapy for 10 years and nothing has changed. This couldn't hurt. And there was a little voice in my ear. And for the first time I was listening to it, which also said, it couldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt. Nothing else is working. Nothing else is working. And so I signed up for my first mystery school, and really not knowing what I was signing up for. I truly didn't. I just had a leap of faith. I just had trust in the process. And those are truly two things that when you're going down your spiritual journey, that is so important: trust and faith. The trust, not trust necessarily, you could trust that others are going to keep their word and do what they say they're going to do, but you also need, most importantly, to trust yourself. Trust that you're making the right decision. Trust that the guidance you're receiving is pure, clean, clear guidance, and that you're following the guidance with the faith and hope that it's going to have the outcome that you desire. I completed my first mystery school in 3 years. It was 3 courses a year, 3 5-day intensives a year, and where we learned a lot about a lot of things. We learned about the chakras. We learned about sacred geometry. We learned about colors. We learned energy healing. I walked out learning about 14 different modalities that I was very well practiced in, because between each class, every modality we learned, we had to do 50 sessions on other people. And we had study groups, so that means I did have work done on myself. And it's amazing. I am so different today than I was about 20 years ago. It was 19 years ago this April. So I'm just 1 year shy of the 20-year mark of going down this path. So I just wanted to share some of the things that I learned. These are just basic concepts. And if you have any questions, feel free to IM me. I would be more than happy to answer any of the questions that you send my way, or comments, or have a conversation with you. Okay, let's talk, and this is in no specific order. When you feel resistance about something or about someone, it's a definite indication that there are feelings of unworthiness that are showing themselves to you. They're front and center, and it shows you that there is work to be done, because where you resist, it will persist. Now, I didn't make these up, but they do hold true, because I resisted. I resisted for many, many decades in my life. And I kept, like I said, having the rinse and repeat cycle happen over and over again, making the same decisions. Thanks, Bridget. Making the same decisions, expecting different results, but I kept getting the same results. So in AA, you learn, like, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, that's what I did. I truly tried to change things, but I was so stuck in my head, and I really couldn't wrap my mind around metaphysical concepts until I went to my first school and I was able to ask somebody what it meant and how why it was showing itself. So resistance is one of those ways that you know that you need help, you need work to do work on yourself. Ups and downs are normal. When you are going through a process and you feel discomfort, it's a sign that things are opening up. So I found that to be a really important statement, because many of us don't like the feeling of discomfort. And the more, I get older and the generations come fresh and more technology comes along, people start hiding behind these things. They hid behind TV, radio, they hide behind their computer, their devices, and know that being uncomfortable is not necessarily a bad thing. It is a catalyst to your opening, to your spiritual opening, to your healing. Because if you're not open, you can't heal. As I tell people who are skeptical of metaphysics and what I do, I'm okay with skepticism. I'm truly okay with it. Be as skeptical as you want. But if you don't believe in what I do, if your mind and heart are closed to energy healing or any type of intuitive practice, it's not going to work on you. So save time, save money, because you're going to just stay in that rinse and repeat cycle. The one in your life that brought you to where you are. And that could be on an emotional basis, physical, or even mental. I love this one. You are never alone. I say this all the time. You are not alone. Though you may feel it sometimes, you may feel like there's nobody there for you. You have so many beings on the other side of the veil that are with you every minute of every hour of every day. And all you need to do is ask. See, these individuals are with you and they want for your highest and best good, but they don't have the ability to use their free will to do something for you. They don't have free will. We have free will as beings. And so we need to ask our high self, our guides, our guardians, our angels, our archangels, ascended masters, deities, gods, goddesses, even our ancestors from on the other side of the veil, for what you need. Ask for your help. Ask for your support, whatever it is that's going on in your life. Ask for it. And as I always say in my announcements, be open to the way things may show up for you. So there's the story, and you may or may not have heard this before, of a person who was living in a house and there were floods that came. The rains were torrential, very Noah's Ark-like, right? And so when the area first started flooding, somebody in a boat came by and said, "Come on, hop on, I'll take you to safety." And the individual said, "No, I'm waiting. God is going to help me." And then a few hours later, the waters were higher and someone else came by with some help. And he said, no, I'm waiting for God to help me. And then the next thing you know, the person's on their roof, sitting there waiting to be saved. And a helicopter comes by and says, "Grab onto the rope. I'll take you to safety." And the person says, no, I'm waiting for God. God is going to save me. And then eventually the human dies. And as he goes to heaven and is met at the pearly gates by God or Gaia, Mother Nature, whatever you call your higher being. And he said, "Why didn't you save me? I don't know why you let me drown." And he said, "Well, who do you think sent the boat and the helicopter and that other person who was trying to save you?" So the point being is, you don't know how things are going to show up. Just be open. Again, it brings trust and faith. into the forefront. Be open to how things show up. They may not show up the way you expect them to or you want them to, but they always show up, especially the way you need them to. So I think that's another something to keep in the back of your mind. So let's see, observe the habits of your personality. Don't buy into them as being indicators of who your true self is. So what does that mean? So it's like be mindful of who you are, how you react to things, because we as humans are led by our egos. Our egos really control us, and we need our egos to live, healthy egos. But when our ego is not healthy, that's when we cover up our true essence with bravado, with false beliefs of who we are. And we don't truly open up to see our true essence, who we truly are, what our heart really is. And ego has a way of burying one's true essence, because it comes out front and center to try and protect you. But is it truly protecting you if it is not allowing you to see the beautiful, wondrous light being that you truly are? Walking your path, your spiritual path, is about your empowerment and your self-healing. Look, we all have had our power taken away from us, whether it's through our parents, our teachers, our religious figures, our friends. We want to be liked. So we are people pleasers. Well, that's giving away our power. When you do everything to please somebody else, even if it doesn't please you, that's giving away your power. So when you walk your spiritual path, you start to take your power back. And then when you do, you start your healing process, because you know that no one else has the right to your power. You're the only one who truly has the right to have your power. So many of us scatter our power around. We need to bring it in, and we can do that through working with an energy healer. You can learn to do your own work. You can take classes and learn how to do that, or read books and practice what they're telling you to do. And just realize that you may go through some very uncomfortable things as you're opening up. You may feel uncomfortable, but that is something to be embraced, not pushed under the rug, because if you push those things under the rug again, you're going to have a lump in your rug and things are not going to change at all. So let's see. Bridget is asking, do you suggest to go to classes even if you don't want to start a practice? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there is so much power in what people are teaching these days. And you work with people. So you find like-minded people who you can practice on and who can practice on you. And that's part of the healing process, because as they're practicing on you, you're getting healings. And as you're practicing on them, you're both getting healings and your awareness opens. So absolutely find a class that resonates with you. Back in the day, Reiki seemed to be the go-to energy modality. And Reiki is a great modality. I'm not talking ill about it. But today, there are so many energy healing modalities that it is mind-blowing. So you have to really research and see what resonates with you. Because to do it because your neighbor or your friend did it isn't enough of a reason to take a class. You need to find a modality or a technique that really resonates with who you are and that the results are what you need. Let's see. Intend that as you go on this journey, you let all of your beliefs, attitudes, and emotional histories, which means your stories that are not who you are, and structures, let go of them, because that's the facade, that's the ego. We're brought up with other people's beliefs. So when we come out of the womb as infants, we As we come out of the womb as infants, we are pure. We aren't about prejudice. We're not biased about anything. Everything is love. And we trust and have faith that the people who love us, who gave birth to us, our parents, our grandparents, our siblings, that they will take care of our needs when we're helpless. And it's as we grow older where you hear other people's judgments and opinions that start to imprint and affect how you think and your belief systems. So when you let go of all that doesn't serve you and find out what do you truly believe for yourself, letting everybody else's words and judgments fall away, you will find that you are not the belief system that you thought you were. And it shifts your attitudes. It shifts the emotional histories because you let it go, realizing that other people's histories are not your histories. And even your histories are all stepping stones to growth and learning for your highest and best good. And when you're mindful of what's going on, it's amazing how you blossom as a spiritual being and as a human. Let's see, how do you find the best school for yourself? You need to research. There are a number of really fine schools out there and fine teachers. And in doing so, you'll find what resonates with you. So I'll mention 3 just off the top of my head. There's Delphi University in McKaysville, Georgia. There is the Monroe Institute in Virginia. I think it might be in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And then there's SWIWA, who's in Arizona, in the Phoenix area. There's more schools than that, but those are the 3 that popped in my head right now. And they all come from a different focus, and they're all trying to do the same thing. They're all trying to bring you to the sweet spot of life. That's my terminology. So if you visualize a dartboard, bullseye is the sweet spot. Bullseye is where we're trying to get to because that's the big enchilada, like the big brass ring of life, in my opinion. But we do it from different ways. So, for example, how it's been explained to me is that Delphi is really a heart-centered school, where Monroe Institute might be considered more of a cerebral school that brings heart into it. And I have to admit, I don't know a lot about SWIWA, SIWA, and how they teach, but they've been around for quite a while, I think over 25 years. So there's a lot of success stories there. So I hope that helps with when you're looking for schools. I know LA has some, not LA, California has schools, various schools around there. And then you have individuals who teach classes. So you might find someone who teaches, for example, theta healing, and take that and use that for yourself, or access bars, and there's so many modalities. There truly are. I mean, I could talk for hours and hours and hours about the different modalities that there are. Not necessarily, I'm not knowledgeable in depth for each and every one of them, but I know enough to be dangerous, as they might say. I want to ask that you, as you're going down your path, that you commit to yourself to stay present, living your life with passion and spontaneity. So children, think about children. Children live in the moment. They play with an open heart, with spontaneity. They do things with passion because they don't know any better. Nobody has stopped their growth. So if you will, get in touch with your inner child and start playing like the child you were. So, for example, do some finger painting. When was the last time you actually felt paint on your fingers and you made a drawing with it, an art piece? Or one of my other favorite ones is you melt crayons. It becomes all abstract and beautiful. And the crayons melt into this beautiful flow of color. Playing the sprinkler with the kids. Run in and out of the sprinkler when you're hot. I wouldn't do that in below zero weather, though. Make snowballs, snow angels. There's so many things you can do to bring your inner child out. Play-Doh. Oh my God. Or make slime. There's a lot of YouTube channels that show you how to make slime. It's just such a fun and freeing kind of an exercise. Trust yourself. Trust how you're being guided. Trust that if you need desire something or need something, yes, you need to ask, but also trust that it's going to come to you. Trust that your needs will be met. And if you don't feel that they're not met, there's a reason behind it. So you need to sort of just a deep dive to say, okay, I needed help here. I don't feel I'm getting help here. Why? What is it I'm supposed to learn? And if you look at everything as a lesson, opportunity, and or a gift, it really brings new perspectives into your thinking, into your processes. And everything that does happen for you really, truly does have an opportunity, gift, or lesson in it. You just need to sometimes go into meditation and sit with it and ask why. What is it? Show me. And allow it to come. Sometimes you ask the questions like, okay, why aren't I getting what I need? I'm having faith, I'm having trust. And here's what you'll find if you're in your head like I lived for many, many years. You'll find that those quiet moments, like when you're washing dishes or you're driving your car or you're washing your hair, that those are the times when you will get an answer. Some verbiage will go through your head and you'll go, oh my God, that's it. That's your intuition. That's a being on the other side bringing an answer to you. And that is also called clairaudient, clear hearing. When you hear those messages, sometimes you get a feeling in your gut. Well, that's clear knowing. And then, of course, there's clairvoyance, which is you'll see a picture in your mind's eye. It's when and if you don't know what that looks like, if you've ever daydreamed and you visualized, I'll just share when I was young in grammar school, I used to visualize somebody saving me from my life, like a knight, a white knight in shining armor, or a knight riding a white horse in shining armor, rescuing me and taking me away from all the chaos in my family and my life. That's what clairvoyance looks like. If you're a reader, and if you're a reader of fiction, and you have to use your imagination to sort of visualize what's going on, that's what clairvoyance is like. So if you're not sure why you're getting pictures in your mind's eye, it's because they have messages for you. Speak and live your truth. Oh, that's so important. And no matter what, speak and live your truth. And here's the thing. Here's the rub, as I might say. When you speak your truth, and you speak it with kindness, not with cruelty, but you talk from your perspective and how it affects you, that is living your truth. And when you live your truth, so for example, somebody is telling you you need to be a doctor, but you don't want to be a doctor, but you become a doctor. That's not living your truth. That's living somebody else's desires. But if somebody wants you to be a doctor, but you see yourself as a musical conductor and you love music and you want to aspire to lead orchestras like the Chicago Symphony or the Pops, well, that's living your truth and making the effort to take the classes or whatever it is you need to live that truth is you doing that. Here's a big one. This is a biggie. Taking responsibility for yourself and your experiences. When you blame somebody else, you give your power away. You just do. When you can't own what you might have said or done, and you say, oh no, it's because of so-and-so. Well, that's not living your truth. It's not living who you are. So taking responsibility is owning that you screwed up. It's owning that you might have said a verbal faux pas. It's owning that you might have hurt someone's feelings. Or it's owning that you made a bad decision for yourself. Once you take responsibility and say, yep, I did it. I screwed up. I said the wrong thing. I apologize. Because being able to apologize to others and to yourself is huge in the process. But what happens when you don't take responsibility is you go into that rinse, repeat cycle in your life, and you'll just constantly be making the same kind of mistakes over and over again, because those mistakes, those things will come up over and over again till you learn your lesson. When you've learned your lesson, so when you've taken ownership and responsibility and you've learned your lesson about it, guess what? You won't make that same choice again. You won't do the same decision that put you in a place of hurt or disappointment or feelings of failure, which is just, it might be a feeling, but you never fail. Everything is done for you to learn. If you started a business and you had to close your business for whatever the reason, it's not a failure. It's a learning experience. And if you can take away not only the things that you didn't do right, but the things you did do right, the next time you decide to take that leap of faith and do something that you want to do for you, well, you'll pull those things into the process, and you'll learn and not make those mistakes again. It's when you don't admit to those mistakes that they'll happen over and over and over again. Find like-minded people. Find a group that has like-minded people in it who can help you with your process, who can support what it is you're doing, and answer any questions you have. Look, I know for me, I had some of the most amazing mentors, friends who I met through this journey, who taught me things. Okay, I'm going to share one of the big things that still stays with me. Stop asking why. I used to say, why? I don't understand. Why? I need to have an explanation. Why? And finally, this person who had a lot more education than I did on the spiritual path said, stop asking why, and sometimes just let things unfold naturally, number one, or just let the process happen, which is unfolding naturally. Just allow it to happen and not try to dig deep, because you don't have to understand everything that's going on in your world. The reason I needed to understand is because it was my control freak archetype that was coming out to try to control the knowledge, to understand why everything happened the way it did. Sometimes you don't have to understand why it's happening, but know that it's happening for your highest and best good and for your benefit. So those are some of the processes and the things that I really found important on my journey that I wanted to share with you. I also wanted to talk about energy, about frequency. So you hear people talking about keeping the vibe high. Well, why do you want to keep the vibe high? Well, it keeps you and protects you from the being drained by, and I don't like the term energy vampire, but there are people or situations that come in our life that drain us. If we are sensitive empaths, because everybody's an empath, not everybody is sensitive enough to pick up on things. And as empaths, we go through the course of our day, we go into busy places like a restaurant or a mall, a bar, a casino, a cemetery, a hospital. and we're not vibing high, well, that is when we are vulnerable to having ourselves drained of energy or having excess souls attached to us. Now, that's nothing to be afraid about, and you can rid yourself of excess souls. And when you do, you will find you feel lighter and freer and breezier. But how do they, what happens to make your truth drop, to make your energy drop and allow yourself to be vulnerable? Well, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're feeling ill, if you have a headache, a backache, a footache, if your hair follicles hurt, it's just something I used to say. You find that your energy will go down and make you vulnerable. Also, withholding your truth, stewing in your feelings will keep you vulnerable, will drain your energy. Not asking for help, trying to do it all yourself will drain your energy, both on a physical and metaphysical level. When you're self-deprecating, when it's like, I'm no good at this, or, oh, silly, silly me. What movie was it? The Notebook, where the mother kept saying, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so stupid. And it always makes me just shudder to hear those words, because that's self-deprecating and that brings the energy level down. And I understand that in the movie it was a Southern colloquialism, but it brings the energy down and allows you to become very vulnerable. When you act with grandeur, like, I'm better than you, I know more, I'm more successful, well, that is not a benefit to you to be that way, and it will bring your energy down. Keeping walls up, not letting people in, not allowing people to help you. And look, we have these archetypes, like the savior, like the doubter, like the control. Then there's a mother archetype, a father archetype. There are tons of archetypes out there. When you allow the archetypes like the doubter, the savior, to come in and take over your personality, well, that will also drain your energy as well. And so it's very important to be mindful so that you're not draining your energy or allowing low vibrational energies to attach to you. Now, how can you raise your energy? Let's see. Meditating, journaling, a gratitude practice, all of those help support not only raising your vibration, but it also supports grounding you, which we'll get to in a little bit, but it's so important to the process. You can sing, dance, drum. If you've ever had a drum in your hand and you've gone to a drum circle, oh my God, when you leave it, you just are vibrating. I mean, it's visceral how your energy is vibrating, and you can feel it. You can use tuning forks or chimes, bells, taking a brisk walk. A gratitude practice always raises vibration. Speaking your truth, living in the moment and being mindful, allowing yourself to be spontaneous, to be playful, allow your creativity to come out, paint, draw, any way you can solder, whatever way your creativity comes to you, embrace it. It raises your vibe. Taking responsibility, I'd mentioned that before. Acting with love, sending out love. That is huge to raise your vibration. And supporting others in need, being of service. And it doesn't make a difference if it's helping someone cross the street. It's not even people, it could be animals. If you know of an animal that's hurt or injured and you can take it for help, take it for help. That's being of service. You know, if somebody needs a shoulder, needs an ear, that's being of service. there are just so many ways, large and small, that would truly help you raise your vibration. So I'm going to take a quick break because I know I talked about the charity shout out at the beginning of the show, but it's officially charity shout out time. And my charity shout out is help the people of the Ukraine country, help the Ukrainians. Send donations, whether it's food or clothing or items that they might need, support the Red Cross, all those organizations that are stepping in to support and bring food and water and clothing and bandages and medical equipment to Ukraine and to the neighboring countries. That's my charity of choice for today. That's for my charity shout out. So please do your best to help support them. Send your prayers, send healing, send energy of support and resilience so that they can keep fighting the good fight. Let's see, I'm reading. I totally agree with you about letting your creativity out. I'm not musical at all, but sometimes playing an instrument is just fun, and it does raise my energy. It does. It is truly amazing. Even if you take the children's xylophone and take those little balls and hit those notes, it's just fun. Or the thumb. I apologize. There's a thumb drum that's so fun to do, and you just play with it with your thumbs. There's the handy pan, which is another musical instrument. Oh, crystal balls. Love crystal balls. And if you want to raise your vibration, go to a sound healing. Oh, lordy, lordy. It is amazing. It truly, truly is amazing. Okay, so I want to move on to the importance of grounding. It is so important to ground, because think about those days when you're all airy-fairy and flighty and scattered, and you keep losing things, or your brain can't stay focused, so you can't finish a sentence without deviating to another subject. Grounding keeps you focused. It keeps you centered. It brings a feeling of solidness under your feet, which really keeps you from being, all over the place. It helps you face challenges, and not only face them, but to persevere through them and to come out on the other side really successful. Grounding helps transform negatives into positives, and it helps you in your healing process by being grounded. So those are the positives. I know there are more positives about being grounded, but it's just really, groundedness is really important. How can you ground? Breath work. You can go onto YouTube and look up healing breath work, and you will find fire breathing or dragon's breath or kundalini breathing. There's just so many different ways to do breathing processes. There's the yoga breathing, so it's where you put, I'm going to get my fingers wrong, but you put your thumb on one side and your third finger on the other. And when you breathe in, you close one nostril. Let's say I'm closing my left nostril, breathing in from the right. Then you use your thumb, close the right nostril, and breathe out from the left. It's a way to ground you. It's called yoga's breath. Carry a stone or a rock with you that you can touch wherever you go. So for me, now if you're not watching the video, I'm holding, and I can't even remember the name of the stone, but it's like a turquoisey green blue stone, and it's flat on one side. And when I am working with a client and I have both hands available, I will start rubbing the stone. When I'm doing an intuitive consult, I will rub my stone. I will keep my stone in my hand so that I am able to stay grounded. Walking in nature, the best way, the absolute best way is barefoot. But we can't all walk barefoot all the time. And if you can't, leather-soled shoes will help you. Everything is now rubber. And I will tell you that the energy does not go through the rubber. You can't ground wearing sneakers or rubber shoes. Okay, I'm reading by followers, primes, and viewers on viewers.shop. I don't know what that is. Maybe Bridget would be kind enough to look it up and tell me and let me know. Okay. So walking in nature, hugging a tree. I know people go, I can't hug a tree. That's so strange. But you can. And it's amazing because trees have such a consciousness. They truly do. Meditating, that's always powerful. I mean, if you don't feel well, meditate. If you have pain, meditate. Meditation is probably one of the best cure-alls for so many things. So you want to raise your energy level, meditate. If you want to ground, meditate. And you set intentions for your meditation so you can get the information you need or the guidance you need or the effect you need through meditation. So what is an energy drain? Well, we talked about it. The person who drains your energy field, they hook into your energy field and drain you from it. But if you're an empath, and I was talking about going through these busy places, so let me explain what it looks like. So our auric field can be close to our body, or it could be 8-10 feet out there, right? When our auric field is large and big, and you walk through a crowd and you're an empath, visualize your auric field as a fisherman's net. And as you're walking down the path of whatever you're doing, this net catches the energies from the people you pass. And if they're cranky, angry, sad, they're hurting, whether they're hurting in their heart, from a disappointment or a breakup, whatever it might be, or whether they're hurting physically, you drag all that stuff into your auric field. And that can also be an energy drain for you. And if you notice that, if you come home from a concert or you come home from a festival or going to a restaurant and you have a headache that you didn't have before you left, or you have an emotion that is incongruent to how you feel. So you might be happy and joyful and done a lot of laughing, but all of a sudden you're feeling depression come over you, but you have no reason to be depressed. That is a sign that you have brought into your auric field as an empath something that doesn't belong to you. Some of the other things that you might feel when your energy drains is fatigue, lethargy. You could feel heaviness in your heart, over your body, like there's a weight on your shoulders. That again, there's no reason to have this weight on your shoulders. That's a feeling. It's a sign of being drained of your energy. As I mentioned, physical ailments that you didn't have before, thoughts you didn't have before, that are, again, incongruent to the way you were feeling. Maybe your thinking gets foggy. Those are signs of a lowered energy field. So I told you how you can increase it. The ways to clear it. Once you've got this in your system, well, Epsom salt bath. You can smudge yourself, smudge your home. Chimes, sounds. You do need some, yes. And I get very tired and foggy. I need to do some protection. Yes, and we're going to get into that protection. We want to clear the energy first. I do the baths. I have my tuning forks that I clear my energy field with. I also intend and put up an energetic shower on my doorway. So the doors that I come in more, from outside, you can visualize it's just a strip of shower. And when you walk in the door, you visualize this shower cleansing you of all the energies and emotions that are not yours, so you don't bring them in the house. You don't bring them in the office, whatever it might be. So what can you do once you've cleared these energies? Put a 360-degree orb. Visualize like an egg around you, 360 degrees. Front, back, top, bottom, all around you. I fill my orb with liquid gold because negative energies and emotions cannot attach to liquid gold. And then, I love this. I learned this through a wonderful teacher. I wrap myself in red roses. I wrap my car in red roses. So roses are very, very beautiful, right? But they have thorns, and it's the thorns that keep the negative away. So if you want to think of it that way, and then, because if something should get through the roses, it's not going to attach because of the liquid gold. So that's one of the ways. Create a visual cube. One of my other teachers had talked about putting a cube up. So you might want to just put a clear wall in front of you. That might not be good enough. So you put a clear wall behind you. Wait, then you put sides on the wall and again, they're clear because you want to be able to see. You put it under your feet and above your head. That's a protective cube. You may want to put up a one-way mirror. So there are people who send negative energies to you on purpose. They send barbs, they send negative energies or arrows. Well, you don't need to take them in. So you put up a one-way mirror. It's like what they have in the police stations. The police officer can see what's going on in the room, but they can't see you. That's what I'm talking about. And you put that up around you so that people who might be sending out daggers or other negative sharpness, that it hits this one-way mirror and turns around and goes back to where it originated from, which is in the thought process of the individual who is sending out the negative stuff. It's fascinating how that works, but it really works. There's the golden pyramid. So what do you do for a golden pyramid? Visualize the cap or the top triangle of the pyramid, not period, above your head. It's about 6 inches above your head. And visualize the base of the pyramid 6 inches under your feet. And then visualize the sides of the pyramid coming together. And you set it up that it's gold. Again, nothing can attach to gold. And you see yourself right in the center of that golden pyramid. So that can help you as well. So that's some information that I thought might be helpful in your spiritual journey. And I wanted to just give a little quick overview in the few minutes we have left to talk about some of my favorite modalities that I use for my clients and why I use them. So spiritual response therapy, otherwise known as SRT, is powerful. SRT was developed by Robert Detzler, who used to be a Mormon. I don't know if they're called priests, but he used to be in the Mormon church, and he was a higher up. And in his meditation, this was downloaded to him. And it is a book of approximately 32 charts, and it clears blocks, programs, interferences, imprints, implants that we have on our Akashic records. It's different than reading the records. It's clearing these wounds, these blocks, these programs off your records, which, here's the great thing. If through research a past life comes up, there's a thread into this present life, and it clears the present thread. If it is in your present life, it clears the past life thread, But either way, it clears the thread into your future. So in future incarnations, you will not deal with whatever this particular program is. Past life regression, oh my God, love it. Because you go into a trance state, you're directed into a trance state and brought into a lifetime that normally has similar issues that you're dealing with in your current life. And we heal those issues in this past life, which heals it in your present life. It's powerful. It is truly powerful. Space clearing. Not only is it important not to be cluttered in your space, but to clear your space with, whether it's with sound or sage, or you can bring in somebody who, like for myself, I use a dowsing rod and a pendulum to clear my space. And intuitive life coaching. Well, sometimes we just need guidance where we're at in the moment. And in my intuitive life coaching, I help my clients to understand what's going on in their current state and what might be for their highest and best good from the information Spirit is giving me. So that's a little bit about my practice and how I teach. I speak on a number of subjects, but for more information, check out my website at Marla Goldberg, and Goldberg has 2Rs.com, and see what I do and how I can help you. I have blogs on my website, and you can really learn about how I like to be of service for my clients. Check out my YouTube page, Guided Spirit Conversations, where all my archived episodes are held, as well as and my website. I have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so LinkedIn. So check me out there. I want to thank you. I can't believe the hour is up and I've done all this talking. Next week, my guest is Ria Loveguard, who is a Starseed Light Language Activator, a 5D business strategist, coach, and author. So I invite you to tune in next Thursday when we talk to Ria and learn about how we activate our love languages. And our love languages do come from other planetary dimensions like Palladian, Arcturian, and so many more. There's so many out there. I want to say thank you for Bridget, my right hand, my left hand. I don't know what I'd do without you. So grateful that you are a part of the team here. So thank you. I want to thank you, the listeners, for taking time out of your life and out of your day to be a part of this podcast. This podcast was created from my heart to yours, with you in mind, to bring you the most amazing individuals, most amazing metaphysicians, psychics, mediums, spiritual leaders from across the globe, to bring their modalities and perspectives to you so that you are able to resonate and have them help you with their information or with their modality. So know I do this for you. Again, for the third time, I know, prayers, love, light to the people of Ukraine, sending out what you can do for them. And as I leave you, I always leave you by sending you love, blessings, and gratitude. Oh, wait, I forgot one more thing. If you're in the Charlotte area, I will be at the Bag Lady tomorrow, Friday, the 18th of March, from 2:30 to 6:30. If you just want to say hello, I'd love to say hello. If you had something on your mind you'd want to talk about, would love to hear from you and talk to you about it, whether it's online through my email, marla@mghealer.com, or at the Bag Lady. Or if you want an in-person session, you can get an in-person session, and you can sign up for that on the Bag Lady website, my website, Marla Goldberg with 2Rs.com. You can schedule. If you really don't want to necessarily have an in-person session, I do remote sessions as well. And you can make your appointment via my website, Marla Goldberg, 2Rs.com. Okay. Now, I leave you by sending you love, blessings, and gratitude. Know how grateful that you're in my life, in whatever capacity you're in it. I love you. You are never alone. Ask for what you need. And until next week, stay well. Take care now. Bye. Bye.